Hello everyone, it's me Clayton. I just finished watching Blue Eye Samurai. Created by Michael Green and Amber Noisemy, the husband and wife team, the husband of which has written Logan and Blade Runner 2049. Now, Blue Eye Samurai is one of those series that happened to reach me due to positive word of mouth, especially considering that it's a show that's not based on a movie, another TV show, a video game, or anything. So I really didn't know what to think of it, despite having a talented writer on board to make it. But I am very glad I decided to give this series a try, considering it has probably some of the most epic, mature storytelling, some of the greatest fight scenes, and some of the best 3D animation I've seen since Arcane, which was 2 years ago. And just like how that show surprised me, despite being based on a online game with a notoriously bad fandom, this one surprised me mainly because it does so many things that you think modern day critics would hate when it comes to these sorts of stories. Yet I found myself loving every second of it. Let's get to the story, shall we? The story is set in the Edo period of Japan during the 17th century, at a time when Japan had its borders closed, not allowing any foreigners to enter the country. That is, however, just its law. The shogun did allow some Westerners to enter, basically defying his very own law, and those Westerners happened to basically impregnate most of Japan's unwanted women, and they happened to spread their influence and technology around the nation, one of which being Abijah Fowler, played by Kenneth Branagh. Now, the story mainly follows Mizu. Mizu is a half Japanese, half Western girl who whose mother was killed by one of the four Westerners who are the main antagonists of the series, and she has to hide her gender, learn swordplay, and has to go around Japan trying to find these people in order to avenge her mother. And on the way, she finds some people who might put her on the right path, others who want revenge on her for ruining their chances to get higher positions, and she even sees that her revenge might end up destroying the very nation that she calls home. So yeah, there's a lot going on in this series, and there's quite a few characters other than Mizu and other than Abijah Fowler who matter, but at the same time, the story really manages to excel because of how it manages to make every scene feel like it matters. The first episode alone happens to have tons of mature content, from gratuitous amounts of blood and body parts being severed, foul language of every single kind of type, nudity that shows full frontal and back nudity for men and women throughout. And so, despite having all of this stuff, none of it feels gratuitous. It just feels like it's the kind of stuff that you'd expect to see in a different time period where the laws and standards were a lot looser, and when it came to discrimination towards women and towards people who were the foreigners of a nation, it was far more pronounced. Because of that, Mizu has to really hide everything about herself. She has to train harder than anyone should reasonably be expected to train. She has to learn techniques that would allow her to naturally beat men who are twice her size, because she just has to push herself to the limit every single time. She gets badly wounded almost every time she's in a major fight, but she never truly gives up. It really feels like this is a difficult journey that anyone in her position would have struggled to get through, even with help from some other people. But that's part of what makes her so compelling. The fact that she can get beaten, battered, and keep getting back up, and she happens to see where her revenge is taking her, but still feels that it's the right thing to do. It's part of what makes her journey so compelling. And on top of that, if you've seen shows like Rurouni Kenshin, you'll probably acknowledge the research done for the samurai codes here, the influence of technology in in Japan during the 17th century or even in later centuries, and you'll probably appreciate the 3D animation that happens to be extremely fluid extremely brutal, and happens to deliver some character designs that stand out from everything else going on right now. Even from Arcane, which also had brilliant 3D animation. It's unfortunate that not that many people are watching this one, because I do hope it happens to gain an audience and so we can get a second season. Because this first season does end on a cliffhanger that I really want to see resolved. But for now, Blue Eye Samurai is one of those shows I didn't expect to love as much as I did, but you should definitely give it a try. It gets a 10 out of 10 from me. See you next time.